Hi everyone, it's the Psychic Sleuth, and today I just want to do a little video real quick on some things that I've been thinking about and things I wanted to discuss. So, I actually have been very quiet about this because I'm not into the drama. I try to be guided by spirit, but I feel like I'm being pushed to say a few things. So for those of you guys that have followed me for a long time, I've been doing this for quite a while, and I feel like I'm very divinely guided most of the time. I have a good connection with spirit, and I try to be respectful of spirit and the things, that I get and that I give and the readings that I do. So when it's come to Kylie, it's become very disrespectful in the true crime community, in the spiritual true crime community. I've never seen anything like it. Just theories and speculation, and just everybody seems to be going crazy with absolutely no evidence. So I got my first information for Kylie before anybody even knew she was missing. I had a vision of a car going into the water. I posted it. This was, I believe, August 7th was when I got it. August 7th or 8th. I think it was before we even realized, right? So as soon as I saw she was missing, I kind of felt intuitively that that's where it belonged. And my reading showed the same thing. It talked about an embankment, and I could see her getting in an accident. And what was weird is what we noticed back when I did my reading is that when I put on the left blinker in my vision, after that it went dark. And so that's why I think, like, in the second reading that I got the other information on the other case, on the Reno case. So it was almost like when it went dark, that was it with that left blinker. Now it turns out that that's very validating in my reading, because she did make a left accidentally and go into the water. She did go down an embankment. And for everybody saying, oh, well, it's foul play, it's foul play, it's foul play, how do you guys know that? How do you guys know that? I'd like to know. Okay, now, I respect AWP. I respect what they do. I mean, I'm the one that said they were going to come out before anybody even knew that, right? I wanted them to come out and find her. However, the way that this case has been treated, with the assumptions and the speculations, because of what they're saying, is not right. They're not investigators. They're not FBI. They are divers, and they are tow truck drivers, and they do a great job at what they do, but they're not investigators. They see the car for literally 5 minutes before they are kicked off of the crime scene. Okay? So, although I do respect them, their video, I haven't even watched it. I won't watch it because it seems it's off of what they normally do. They normally do their dives, they find their cars, and they don't have all the speculation around it. And he went into that water with the speculation of already thinking foul play because of what he had seen, from the drama he had seen, from what he had been told. And then the tow truck driver, I mean, we don't even know, right? Because Kylie was supposedly seen before that in Arizona or New Mexico or wherever it was that her car supposedly was. And before that, it was in a gated community. So I don't know how many cases that I've worked in that I've seen where there's been sightings and they haven't been accurate. Not saying that this isn't, but I'm telling you, the FBI and the cops know a lot more than you guys do. And just because they're not releasing it doesn't mean they don't know about it. So they're going to check that information out. I have to go by what I'm getting. What I'm getting, and there's also a few others that are very accurate that are getting the same thing. We've all got an accident. And it's kind of weird because I kind of put myself in the shoes of Kylie. Now, I want to be really respectful when I'm talking about this. I don't want to tarnish her memory. I don't want to cause any drama. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just trying to get people's minds to think also logically. Okay? Because not everything that happens is true crime. Accidents still do happen. Things still do go wrong. And today, actually, I'm doing this on the 10th, which is a celebration of her life. So I think we should all remember the type of person that Kylie was and what she would want. And the speculation and the finger pointing and everything is horrible for her family. The conspiracy theories. Can you imagine? I mean, put yourself in their shoes as parents. Okay? How would you feel if this was your daughter and all of this was being said? How would you feel if you knew that your teenager was innocent, because we have no proof that anybody is guilty of anything, but still fingers are being pointed? And there are constant, people are constantly pointing fingers at your teenager saying that they murdered somebody. How would you feel about that? I'm pretty sure police have Sammy's ping. I'm pretty sure they checked that out. I'm pretty sure they do their job and they know what they're doing, okay? So they messed up when they picked the car up. It doesn't mean the whole investigation's blotched. Because they didn't find her, okay? If you watch, many times AWP finds cars after areas have been searched multiple times. Okay? That car, according to the police conference, if you guys haven't watched it, was originally in 25 feet of water. By the time the AWP came out, it was at 14 feet. I've watched a lot of stuff before I decided to come on here and talk to you guys about this. So originally it was 25 feet. They do not have the sonar equipment. They do not have the experience of diving. The AWP does. AWP are divers. That's what they do. They're not investigators. The investigation is for the police, for the FBI, to do what they do. And that's what CHP does. They investigate accidents. So they're going to know if it's an accident because that's what they do. So just because AWP says something, it doesn't make it the word. They do not have the authority to make that call. Although they're trying to do good, and I'm sure that maybe they didn't think about it. The credibility is on the line here in the long run. Because of the way that they put out the video, it started a larger circus, more of a debacle, because they have experience, so they're making opinions and speculations, and everybody's following that. It's almost a little bit of brainwashing that's going on around all these true crime channels, saying, oh, this happened and that happened, and looking to every little thing. Every little thing. I mean, a song doesn't mean anything. Somebody has some scrapes on their knees. It doesn't necessarily mean it happened that night. It doesn't necessarily mean it happened. Everybody's picking every little thing apart. And can you imagine what Kylie's family is feeling right now in this circus? And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to say I'm wrong. But I've had sleepless nights about this. About me sitting and thinking, well, I didn't get that. I don't understand. Like, did I get the right stuff? Because I don't ever want to be wrong in the way of leading anybody down a wrong path, misunderstanding spirit, which we can. We're not perfect. Okay? We can misunderstand. But I went into this reading, I did this reading pure. Before any information, any spectacle, any kind of theories came out. People don't understand when they read cards and they use tools and things like that. And even when they channel, their mind can interfere if they already have thoughts going into it. Just like investigators, if they have certain thoughts going into something, they can lean that way. So while a lot of you are saying, oh, this can be foul play, because they said this, it can also be explained by an accident. There's a lot of logical stuff. I watch True Crime Rocket Science. If you guys don't watch him, he has a lot of logical thought process. So I just want us to remember Kylie on today, because today is a celebration of her life. And we also have to understand that we have to be respectful of spirit. Anybody in the spiritual community, not contacting them 24/7. I know if I was a spirit and I was on the other side and people kept calling me back, I would not keep coming. they're trying to transition. They're trying to go through their life review. They're trying to do things on the other side that they are supposed to be doing. They do not need to talk to us 24/7. Things happen the way they're going to happen regardless from our soul contracts, our blueprints, destiny, whatever you want to call it. It's going to happen the way that it's meant to happen. No amount of contacting spirit over and over is going to change that. And a lot of times we can be tricked. Our mind can be tricked. I try to be respectful of spirit and contact them as much as I need to get information, but I always spread it out. I don't do it every single day. I don't focus on one thing, one person. There's other cases that need our attention. So going back to Kylie, every time that I think about this case, I can still see the car going down the embankment. I can still see her basically fighting for her life. Now, think of this logically. If somebody was going to supposedly take someone's life and put them in the water, wouldn't they strap them in? I mean, I think it would be more suspicious to me if they were strapped in, right? Because what are you going to do when you go in the water? You're going to start fighting. So, in case you guys haven't watched the other channels and you don't know that the mirror, the driver's side window, the dent on the driver's side was all done when they flipped the car. It was not done when Kylie went into the water, because it was stated in AWP's video that was not broken. Now the passenger side was broken. Now that could have happened, for one, with the pressure of the water. For two, she could have kicked it and kicked it and kicked it, and maybe it didn't break, but maybe later on it broke under the pressure. Okay, in the back window, how do you guys know that she didn't start rolling that down and the electric failed? I've heard that those windows don't go down all the way anyways in those cars. And where else was she going to go? Where's the air bubble? You guys imagine yourself in a sinking car. Close your eyes and just imagine it. Watch the YouTube videos of sinking cars. You have literally 60 seconds to 120 seconds. That's less than a minute to get out of that car. Now say that you've been at a party. It's pitch black dark. It's freezing cold water. And you're disoriented. Because if you've watched Mythbusters, they talk about how they're disoriented just from being in the sinking car. Now you put yourself in that situation. You tell me what you would do. You're going to fight to try to get out of there, right? But you've got water rushing in at the same time. It's cold. It's pitch black. How are you supposed to... Have you ever tried to swim upriver or swim out of a window where water is rushing in? Do you know how hard that is to do? Not to mention the car turtled. So at one point the car turtled, but she probably was knocked unconscious from the, or the breath was taken out of her at some point. But she wasn't in the back hatch of the car. According to the video, they could see her feet out of the back window. Therefore, she wasn't completely in the back. And when they went around to the hatch, they did not see her. They saw her out the side, not the hatch. So, where are you going to go in a car when you're trying to escape? Where the air bubble is in the very back. You're going to try to find your way out of that car. Whether you're trying to find your way out of the hatch. You can't go out the window. Maybe it's not open enough. There's water rushing in at the same time. It's cold. It's pitch black. If you guys have ever watched any of those videos out there of people driving those roads, you see how dark it is. You can't even see in front of you. You can't even see the lake. Now we don't know how much she drank, how much she did, what all that, there's sometimes that things hit you later and you think you're fine and you're not. So every time that I try to go back into this and I try to see what happened, I don't see anybody doing anything to her. I see her trying to fight for her life to get out of the car. And I've struggled with, am I right? And what I'm getting correctly? Am I what am I missing? I've had sleepless nights over that. Because I would not want anybody to get away with foul play. And I want to give the most accurate information that I can. But I don't see anybody involved. And you know what? When this is all over, if those teenagers are found innocent, there better be some apologies. Because you guys are ruining their lives. I mean, can you imagine if you were innocent and all you saw was that you're being, threatened and you're all over YouTube, but not for anything good, for you killing your best friend or your ex? And we've all had teenage relationships. You guys are picking apart their teenage relationship. I thank God no one's picking apart my teenage relationships, for the crying out loud. I mean, they're teenagers. Do you remember back to when you were a teenager? Do you remember back that far? Okay, and just because EVPs are saying names, I need to throw this out there before I forget, does not mean that they're saying that person did it. It could be them trying to say hi or I love you or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's why they're saying it. Just because they say mom in an EVP doesn't mean the mom's involved. And I can't believe people that were pointing fingers at the parents in this situation. Come on. You guys have some respect. I mean, if I were her parents, there's so many people I would sue right now. I can't believe it. And this is not what Kylie would have wanted. If her friends are innocent, do you really think that they want you guys picking their lives apart and pointing fingers? And what evidence do you have? Because a teenager acts weird? Come on, put yourself back to when you were a teenager. You just lost your best friend. How are you going to act? Oh, because they're not crying? I didn't cry when my husband passed away. The cops looked at me like I was crazy. Why I didn't all of a sudden start bawling and crying. It's called shock. It's called not knowing or realizing what has happened yet. And how can anybody have a chance to grieve with all of this nonsense and circus going on? As far as the seatbelt in the back of the car, do you guys realize that there's a hatch assist that looks like a seatbelt? True Crime Rocket Science, I just watched him. In the 2013, they do have it. For someone that's shorter, if the hatch is very tall, you can pull that assist and bring it down, and sometimes it gets caught in the back door. It doesn't mean she was seatbelted in. It doesn't even mean it's a seatbelt. It could be the hatch assist. There is a logical explanation for all of this. If you look up the way that a body floats when it's been in water, it's the way that she was. But I know I put myself in their shoes when I do these readings. A lot of the times, let me tell you, when I started to go into what happened, the anxiety I felt. And things can be misunderstood. Remember, it's how we perceive the information. It's how we interpret the information. EVPs are the same way. It's how we perceive the information. It's how we interpret the information. But I cannot believe the stuff you guys are coming up with. And I don't know if it's clickbait. I don't know if it's to grow your channel. I don't know what the heck it's for. I haven't come on here and posted anything because that's not what it's about for me. It's about me respecting spirit and respecting Kylie's memory, and this is not respecting her memory. Let FBI, CHP do their job. They will know. They have all the evidence. I'm sorry. Like I said, I respect AWP. I'm not talking bad about them, but they are not investigators. They are not accident investigators, and they work on cold cases. They have never seen a fresh case. And now we know why, because in a way they could have blotched the investigation, by putting certain things out there and putting speculation out there. I mean, now we'll have to wait and see what happens with the tow truck driver, if he's legit or not. The cops are going to know that from whatever video they have. Let's not jump to conclusions, because how many times do we see where people are said to be somewhere and they're not? It happens all the time in just about every case that I've seen. It happened twice before Kylie was ever found. And considering I said where she was and that AWP was going to find her in a certain time frame, and they did, I have to believe the rest of my reading is correct. And every time I look back at it, I do not see anybody doing anything to her. And the other people that I know that are good, like Aphrodite, and there's another lady I just watched today. She got the same thing. We all got accident. You have to understand that not everything is a conspiracy. And when you're doing this work, you can't let your mind run away. I learned that from Lisa Williams. I took one of her crime classes, and that's one thing I do remember. You gotta keep your mind in check, because your mind will run away. And it can cause us to read the cards wrong. It can cause us to do, a lot of things, to misunderstand and misperceive. I could be wrong, and if I am, okay. But I'm waiting to see what the police are going to come out with. Because, I'm sorry, true crime community, you guys are not investigators. You do not have all the evidence. They have the toxicology report. They have the autopsy report. They have the black box from the car. They're going to know how fast she was going, if she hit the brakes, whatever she did. That's stuff that you guys don't have. Just because they didn't net the car and they let things go out, that doesn't mean the whole investigation is botched. They were under a lot of pressure. And that's what I was going to tell you guys. Many times AWP comes in. Okay, for instance, the case that they kept referencing to me when I was doing Kylie's reading about the party that was by the pond. And the sheriff's department said, oh, we searched that pond multiple times. It was searched thoroughly when he went missing. Okay? And that was the case that was very similar to this one. AWP comes in and finds him. And the sheriff's sitting there baffled because they searched it. The thing is they didn't have the equipment and they do not have the experience. That's what they're experienced in doing. And cops are experienced in investigations, one would hope. They have specific accident investigations, specific foul play investigations. That's what, they have the FBI involved. They have all these people involved. Now, if this accident would have happened anywhere else, would we have said foul play? Just because it's at the lake with the party, right? But that happens a lot. And no difference than the other case that I had mentioned with the two kids, okay? When they went missing, I guess they were in two separate cars. They were teenagers. And everybody kept saying, oh, this person did it. This person did it. There was all this speculation. And guess what? They drove their car into the water. So everybody's speculating. And I hope to God that if it does come back an accident and that these kids are innocent, that you guys frickin' apologize. Because can you imagine being their age and having all this thrown on you? Nobody has any proof that they did anything. But you guys are acting like we got all this proof. You guys are assuming, you're throwing out theories, and you're speculating. You have nothing to back it up. Cops know more than you guys think that they know. Let them do their job. Let them come back with it. And still, when they come back with it, everybody's going to say, oh, it's a cover-up. It's a cover-up. Please. Come on. What do they have to cover up? They're going to say one way or the other, and it's going to be on evidence, and they have to have that evidence to back up whatever they got. They have all the evidence, and they're used to seeing certain things. So, well, I say, I do respect AWP. Like I said, I wanted them to come out. I knew they were going to find them. They're not that's not their job. That's not their job to make assumptions and speculation. They can't make that call. Just because it looks suspicious, because they've never seen. They're used to working cold cases. They're not used to working these kind of cases with fresh bodies. Just do me a favor. When you get off here, go watch some sinking cars. Now, they say when you know what you're doing, you have 60 seconds to get out. And it's hard to do that. And they usually show the windows you can roll down mechanically, not the automatic windows, right? So what if she was passed out upon impact? What if something happened and caused her to swerve and go down into the water? And she's disoriented and it's dark and all this stuff is happening. She doesn't know what to do. In a panic. I know when I'm in a panic, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I thought there was a freaking rattlesnake under my car, and I was running around with the chicken with my head cut off. Can you imagine the panic and fear? It doesn't make you think clearly. Now imagine you've been drinking or whatever. It's dark. You're in the water. You're trying to get out. Can you imagine being in that situation? She probably did try to kick that window out, and it probably didn't break. And if it did, can you imagine all the water rushing in? You guys, you have to think of it logically, not just say that it's foul play just because we're in the true crime community. There are accidents that happen every single day. How many cars does AWP pull out of the water? What, 20, 24, 27, something like that? Mostly accidents? It happens. So, my rant is over, I think. I think I've mentioned everything I wanted to talk about. I will not waver from what I was given because that's what I was given. I do not point fingers. This is a drama-free channel. I won't put up with drama. So please don't come at me and say, well, it's foul play because of this, because that's not what I got, and I'm not going to agree with you. I've looked at both ends, and there's absolutely no evidence that it was foul play. All of the stuff that you guys are talking about can be explained from trying to escape a car and parts of the, like I said, the hatch assist. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a seatbelt. Are you guys inside the car? Can you actually see that it's a seatbelt? No, you can't. You're assuming it's a seatbelt. But if you did research, you would see there's a hatch assist that looks like a seatbelt that you can pull. It's latched that you can pull down. So it could be that, and everybody's speculating because you don't see the metal part of the seatbelt. I hope we've learned something from this. Everybody's jumping to conclusions, and everybody is pointing fingers at these teenagers, and they're teenagers. I mean, I could put myself back to that age. I wasn't the smartest cookie. It's not, they don't have the life experience that we have behind us, behind them. They just don't. You can say, oh, well, they're looking weird. If you're looking hard enough, you're going to find something. As far as the conspiracy theories, absolutely freaking ridiculous. I mean, I am into some kind of conspiracy theories, but I know that Kylie was real. I just found out I got the name Rodni back in Delphi. So this was all it's always preordained to happen, but it was foretold. I didn't even realize someone had to tell me. But, we know that Kylie's real, and it's disrespectful to say she's not. She's not a real person. She is a real person. She had a life. She had a family. She loves her family. She's a teenage girl. I was 17 once. And I did not, and boys, when they're that age and they're in love with a girl, they're clingy. And you could hear her laughing in that video. Everybody's picking it apart. They're picking it apart. You guys are looking for things. And when you look for things, you're going to find them. It's almost like lemmings. Like it's almost brainwash. I don't understand. You guys jumping to conclusions and assumptions without any kind of evidence whatsoever. And it's driving me nuts. And the spiritual community, we're here to give answers. We're not here to contact them 24/7 and make assumptions and be investigators. That's not our job. Our job is to give the information and hope that the police do their job. So let the investigators and the police do their damn job. And please respect Kylie's family, her mother and father. I have a 17-year-old, and I know that anybody treated if I had something like this happen and people were like this about my kid, yeah, there would be some lawsuits. And that's why I've kept quiet. I don't point fingers. I say, if I get it in a reading, I'll say allegedly, but I don't sit there and point and nitpick about every little thing. Well, she listened to that song and she has bruises on there. And yeah, sometimes there is evidence, but I have yet to see any real evidence other than assumptions and theories. And conspiracy theories. And then everybody having somebody that's saying that Kylie isn't real on their channel and talking about it, making it worse. I cannot believe it. it's crazy to me. I don't know if everybody's just bored with their life or what, but, you know, I'm here to respect spirit. I'm here to respect Kylie's family. Like I said, I want to be very respectful, and that's why I haven't said anything. That's why I've tried to remain quiet. I try to stay out of the spotlight and try to remain drama-free, but this has been reeling in my mind for weeks now. So I've watched videos on you know, on sinking cars and things like that. Why don't you guys do some research? Everything that's being explained can be explained by an accident and her trying to get out. I mean, ever try to swim up river or try to get out of a car when you've got all these pounds of water rushing in on you? Can you imagine trying to get out of a car like that in cold water? It's almost literally impossible. You can't even, people can barely get out of a car when they're sober and they know what to do. Right? So, again, rant over. I want to be respectful. I don't want to tarnish her memory. I just wanted to put some pointers out there in case people haven't thought about it. You know, maybe you guys haven't thought this way. Maybe you're just so focused on foul play that you haven't thought about the accident and how it could be an accident and all these things pointing to an accident. I try to look at everything in every angle, and I think the angle needs to be looked at. Unfortunately, it feels like a tragic accident, and unfortunately, I can explain everything through a tragic accident. It doesn't necessarily have to be foul play. Just because we're a true crime community, you don't have to twist everything into something that it's not. Have some respect for freaking Kylie's family. Everybody should just stop making videos. And matter of fact, I'm not going to make any more videos after this. I just had to because I wasn't able to sleep and all this was reeling around in my mind. And it's not for views or anything like that. It's literally, I'm hoping that I can get you guys to think other ways. But, that's the only reason I made the video. And now we need to let her family grieve. We need to leave the teenagers alone until the cops say, yes, they're involved and we have this evidence. Leave them the hell alone. Can you imagine if that was your teenagers, how you guys would feel? Please put yourselves in these people's shoes. Please be respectful. And of Kylie's memory, today is her celebration of life. She was a bright light. She's made a difference. Maybe she's taught us something. But this is not what she would want. So just be patient. Wait till we hear something, which I don't know if we will because I heard that things were sealed. We'll find out. Just wait. Okay? I thank you for your support and for following me. Don't have to argue with me on anything. I'm not going to argue with you on this. I know what I got. I know what I feel strong about. I'm not changing my mind. I would have never gotten on here and said it if I had a different thought in my head. But it's been driving me nuts, and I just felt like these were things that I had to say. It's just been reeling in my mind. Like I said, I haven't been able to sleep because I don't understand why I got these things and other people are saying this other stuff. But again, it's all assumptions. There's no evidence to back any of it up. Now, we'll find out if Nick, the tow truck driver, cops know all that. Cops know more than you guys think they do. They're not completely stupid. Sometimes they do mess up, but they are human, just like we are human. Okay? It doesn't mean they don't know about the tow truck driver. Probably seen the video or are trying to see the video. They know what they're doing. Yes, they messed up with the car. Probably didn't think about it. They're probably just focused on Kylie in the car. You know, and they've got all this going on. They got AWP. There's a lot going on. But this is not the first time that a car has been found in water that has been thoroughly searched. It happens a lot. And originally it was 25 feet when they were searching it. And they just don't have, they've said they don't have the equipment and they don't have the experience. Why do you think they called them? They didn't have to call them. Matter of fact, AWP doesn't even do new cases. But they did. So give them a pat on the back for that because they didn't have to involve them. They knew that they needed them, so they called them. And that's a lot more than other people do. So give them some credit. And please, just respect Kylie's family. Put yourself in their shoes. I mean, can you guys freaking imagine? Let's remember for Kylie for the beautiful woman she was, not how she passed. Would you guys like to be remembered? Would you like your imprint to be left on this world by the way that you leave it? Probably not. You guys probably want to be remembered by the good things you did and the impact you made, not how you left this world, even though it was tragic. If this accident would have happened anywhere else, would it have been an accident, or would you guys be calling foul play? If for some reason she would have gotten in an accident and hurt somebody else because she did make it to the road, then what? Just because it happened at a party doesn't necessarily mean it's foul play. And as far as people hearing anything, they were all partying, high, drunk, whatever. She wasn't just right there. She was way across, okay? And pretty sure there's no trees or nothing, not anything loud. She hit the water. You're not going to really hear it. Everybody's doing their own thing. And I've been to parties and never seen anybody leave. Didn't pay attention. You know, who sits there and watches the parking lot? Nobody. You know, it's super dark out there. You guys act like it's amazing that nobody saw nothing. When you're preoccupied with other things, drinking, doing drugs, whatever, you're not going to be paying attention to who's leaving, what's going on. And it probably didn't even make that big of a splash. So, just things to think about. Food for thought. I could be completely wrong, and that's okay. I'll eat it if I am. But these are just food for thoughts. Watch some True Rocket Science. I like him because he's very logical in things, and he does his research, and he doesn't just throw out speculation. So that's all I'm going to say tonight. My video is a lot longer than I want it to be. Bless you guys. I hope to see you soon. I'm so tired. I'm trying to regain my energy here from all the work that I've done and the work I'm doing that you guys aren't seeing. So, your support is very much appreciated. Make sure if you haven't subscribed, please do. And everything's in a playlist. If you guys haven't checked out my world events, a lot of stuff is happening that I said, such as the Queen. I got it in 2019. She was going to pass in 2022 and again in February. So, we're going to come out probably with some validation videos we're going to be working on, hopefully. But if you guys haven't checked those out, there's playlists. So, anyways, I'll see you guys soon.